Hi guys, welcome back to the Drive Life channel, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about how to fit lights to your Volvo. So as you can see, I've got the amber strobes here, and that's a requirement for where I work. I have to drive on building sites. They require you to have these amber strobes on your car. I thought rather than sticking an ugly big box on the top, I'd integrate them into the car just to make it a bit of a project, but also just make it look a bit cleaner. So yeah, we've got them, and I'm going to show you how I've wired them in, and how you can do this for light bars, everything like that, even if you want exterior fog lights, all those sort of things. Really easy to do, so let's get straight into it. Okay then, so the first step you need to do is identify where you're going to mount your lights. As you can see, these ones are mounted in the grille. They actually clip onto the grille quite nicely. It's really easy to fit. You'll see here that we've got wiring going up the back, and you'll see in a minute where that comes from, where that goes. But yeah, essentially, if you're mounting a light bar, you need to do it somewhere where you can feed wires easily, and somewhere that's not going to really cause many issues in installation. If you can avoid it, you don't want to be drilling into your bumpers or anything like that. Granted, if you're happy to do that, that's fair enough. But for stuff like this, for work, I'm not willing to cut my car up specifically to fit those lights. So that's the first step. Then you need to work out sort of your route for the wiring. So you'll see here, if I pop the bonnet, I've already got it popped here. If we lift it up and pull up there, you'll see that just from here, you're pretty difficult to see where they're wired into. They're actually wired from this grille up behind the bumper, and they pop out here briefly. I'm going to tidy that up. I know it's not the tidiest at the moment, but they've only been in a couple of days. So what essentially you need to do is work out the best way to get your wiring to your power source, wherever that may be. I've chosen to do it from the fuse box using a fuse tap, and I'll show you that in a second. But yeah, essentially, if you can conceal the wires, it's safe for the wires, prevents them being damaged by sort of debris on the roads and stuff like that, and also the weather as well. That's something you want to shield the wires from. So as you can see, these ones are fairly concealed from view as well, and they're fairly safe from the elements because they tuck under the bonnet quite nicely. We've then got my control module here, which is just tucked in, nice and easy to access. I didn't want it to be a system that if one light broke, I couldn't then replace them. So we've got, yeah, nice and easy. They can unclip here, and it just makes life nice and easy to get to. We've then got our power wire, which travels off round here and plugs into the fuse box, and I'm going to show you now. There's two options. You can either go directly to the battery with essentially you mount it on the battery terminals, or you could do what I've done, which is you mount it on the fuse board. So what we have here is something called a fuse tap. Essentially, you take a circuit from the fuse board, and I've chosen to take the one from the horn, so that it's got constant power, just so the fact that I didn't have to have my engine running the whole time while the car is parked on site with the orange flashes. It's just a sort of a fuel saving thing, really. I've just noticed Volvo provide you with a load of spare fuses there. That's pretty cool. So I've gone for the one with the horn. Essentially what it does is it piggybacks the circuit, so it doesn't affect your horn at all. It just then creates another circuit on top of that, and its own standalone circuit. And you can see the blue just there, that's where the wire goes in, and you crimp it, and it gives you the power. I've then got the negative just bolted onto the bodywork here. See if I can get, that's better, just in there. It's quite a rudimentary thing, but it works, and that gives us the power that we need. Now you can also, like I said, do it from the battery, but I personally think this fuse setup is the better way to go, just because if you have to replace the battery, then you can run into some issues of having to rewire stuff. But yeah, as you can see, that's a nice tidy little system, and it tucks away as well. That's another thing I didn't want. I didn't want wires being everywhere. It does rub on here slightly, so I've had to sort of modify how this fuse box cover is, but as you can see, very little to see there. Next, we've then got the switches. Now, a lot of people recommend putting these through the firewall or the bulkhead, wherever you can. To be honest, I didn't really fancy messing around back here. As you can see, it's fairly difficult to get to. So I've just gone the easy route of tucking it under some body panels, feeding it round the door. So if I shut the bonnet, you can see where it goes. This is the switch wire here, tucks up under the front wing, and then down. The only bit of exposed wire we've got is here. I'm going to try and work on how to get that under the front wing completely, because they're pretty easy to unbolt. Then comes in here, and again I'm working on how to make this slightly more neat. And there's my switch there. So it's not like something I can just flick on. I have to physically reach over and switch it on, so it's not something you can do accidentally. So yeah, it's just sort of a quick way of showing you guys the electrics involved in wiring up new stuff. It's actually really easy, and I was quite pleasantly surprised. So if you're looking to fit a light bar or anything like that, if you follow these steps, you should be fairly in the clear in terms of getting power to it. Mounting it might be a slightly different story. I'm actually looking to mount the light bar to this car, and that's going to go in this bottom grille here, because they look fantastic there, to be honest. And so that's just going to improve night driving, because I do a lot of night driving, and it's all sort of big open country rural roads. There's a lot of wildlife, so the further you can see ahead, the better, really. So yeah, make sure you subscribe if you want to see that project and plenty more Volvo stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.